Hey, what's up guys? John Rettinger here. In the past I've done viewer mailbags where I answer questions from YouTube, but I also get a lot of questions in the comments and questions via Twitter. And Twitter is a great way to ask kind of some short questions and I can provide you some short answers, but unfortunately I can't get into the amount of detail that I would like because some of the questions really involve more than the 140 characters that Twitter allows. So I'm going to start a new segment where I answer your Twitter questions on camera a little more in depth. So let's get started. First question comes from Matt Something. And he says, John for Lakers, how did you get your start on the internet? Well, Matt and whomever else is interested, really it kind of happened by accident. I've always had a love for technology ever since I was little. I've always been saving up all the money I could to buy some sort of tech that I liked or thought I wanted or would buy something to give as a gift to other people. Tech has always played a really big part of my life and something that I've always enjoyed. So about 2 years ago I was looking to switch from a PC to a Mac and I started searching around the internet for questions and comments that people have had about the switch from PC to Mac. And while I was looking on YouTube there were a few Mac reviews and a few opinions on how the switch went, but there weren't that many. And at the time, I didn't know anything about OS X or how it worked. So I thought that if I made YouTube videos kind of detailing my transition from PC to Mac, that would help me not only learn a new operating system, but also learn my new computer. And that's really how I got started. I didn't really plan on making a career of it at the time. I didn't think anybody was even going to pay attention. And it really just grew from there. I made a few videos when I started out, and I'd space them out, and I'd get some questions from commenters and a few subscribers, and I just kind of kept answering from there. It really happened very organically, and it's one of the things in life that actually I'm very proud of, is how much it grew and how it sort of became a community. So the next question that we have is from iTouchPSP. John for Lakers. How did you come up with the name John for Lakers? You're a fan, and since when? Well, this kind of ties back into the how did you get started on YouTube thing. I made the name John for Lakers long before I started making videos. It was just to comment on other people's videos. And if I at the time had any inkling that I was going to be making videos, I would have picked a way better name than John for Lakers. That was an old instant messaging name that I had, I think when I was in high school. I've been a fan of the Lakers since I was a little kid. My dad took me when I was young, and I've always been a sports fan, and the Lakers were always my team of choice. So that's how I came up with the name, and if I thought about it longer, I probably should have picked something a little bit better. The next question comes from Clueless Dylan. At John for Lakers, who is your biggest hero? Now this is probably going to sound a little bit cheesy, but my biggest hero in the world, out of everybody, is my father. My father really is a guy that I look up to, someone I admire. He's worked so hard his whole life to provide for a family and really never asked anything for himself, would never complain after getting up at 5 in the morning, not coming home until 7, 8, sometimes even 9 o'clock at night, would never complain, would always offer to help cook dinner, offer to clean up the dishes if my mom made dinner, was just always there for me. He always found time to help me with my schoolwork, help my sisters with whatever they needed. He always put his family first and really just was a very giving guy, and he is a very giving guy. And I feel really blessed and lucky to have a father like him. So my father is definitely my hero. I know that's a little bit cheesy, but it's true. So my next question that we have is from Enrique Jr. John for Lakers, why do you tweet? I thought this one tied in nicely with a Twitter question video. Well, the reason I tweet is actually there are a few reasons. The first is to let people know when there is a new video up or a new post that I'm interested in. It's to kind of a way to immediately blast it out to the audience, and if there's something pertinent, topical going on, it's a way to spark a discussion about it. It's also a great way to interact with the audience. You know, I have fewer Twitter followers than I do on YouTube, and it's hard to answer every YouTube email. But the tweets that come in, generally I try to respond to. If people took the time to type it, I think that if I've got a few minutes, it's only fair to try and respond if I can. So it's a great way to interact and, like I'm doing right now, answer questions that people have. It's also a cool way to share life experiences, what's going on. Sometimes tweets are silly, like, hey, it's 7:30, I got a late start in the day, like I did this morning. Or, just saw Terminator Salvation, pretty good special effects. It's just a fun way to share what's going on in my life and hear what's going on in your lives. So, next question. Uber Freak, at John for Lakers. Which wireless carrier do you think is the best overall? Coverage, devices, and customer service. So there are kind of three questions there. The carrier of choice for me, and the carrier that I had long before the iPhone, was, or is, Singular and AT&T. I love having a GSM-based service. I love being able to take out a SIM card, pop it into a new phone, or pick up an unlocked phone and try it, even since before I started doing tech reviews. You know, I always like to borrow friends' phones and play with them and see what they thought and make my own opinions on new devices. So I've always loved a GSM carrier. And my family had AT&T, so that's kind of how I came to it. And I've been very happy with it. I think for me, coverage has been fantastic. I am blanketed in 3G wherever I go. I think the download and even upload speeds are relatively quick. I think customer service, when I've called them, has been absolutely fantastic. And I've been relatively happy with AT&T. I think that they're certainly one of the best carriers out there, and they're one of the biggest for a reason. You know, I've also tried Verizon. I think their voice service is fantastic. I have not tried Sprint. I've tried T-Mobile, and I think that their services are very good, and I think their customer service is also, you know, some of the best out there. But the perfect kind of combination of all three, for me at least, has been AT&T. Certainly coverage is going to vary wherever you're at, and maybe T-Mobile is best for you, or Verizon's best for you, but for me at least, it's been AT&T. So the next question comes from Joe D. Trick at John 4 Lakers. Well, I guess it's an obvious question. How do you feel about the Zune HD? Do you think it has any chance against the Touch? Well, the Zune HD was announced yesterday by Microsoft, and it's an OLED capacitive touchscreen. That's all we really know about it right now. It's capable of showing high-res video, but not on the device itself. If you connect it to a TV, it can show high-res video. We don't know much about it. If it's really going to have thorough Xbox integration, if it's going to play games. It does have multi-touch. One thing I will say as a knock on it, it's running a modified version of Internet Explorer, not running a WebKit-based browser like is found on the iPhone, for example. So browsing experience, I do not expect to be that good. Certainly the one thing the iPod Touch and the iPhone have going for it is a relatively mature app store. And if Microsoft can mobilize some sort of app store, I think it has a chance to compete, mostly with those that have a thing against Apple or really like their PCs. Apple is gaining market share though, unless the Zune HD introduces software that's compatible with Macs. I don't think they're going to have much of a chance of passing the iPod Touch in terms of success. Since that device really crosses platforms to PC and Mac, certainly the Mac demographic is growing, and people who think they may switch in the future might not jump to the Zune. Also, the Zune brand has kind of been drugged through the dirt with kind of some bad marketing, some bad advertising, and really some negative word of mouth. Whether that's justified or not, you know, I'll let you decide, but people aren't really running to the Zune name. So I think it has a chance, probably one of the best chances of any of the iPod Touch killers, but I don't think it's going to dethrone it anytime soon. Next question. That is actually the last question. Was from Mr. Joe D. Trick. So guys, I hope you found this useful, and I hope you liked having some kind of questions answered via Twitter. I also want to thank a few people. Last week I participated in a week of streams for charity to go to a children's hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. And during that stream I said anybody who donated more than $10 would get a personal thank you from me and a shout out. And I haven't done that yet, and I really want to thank everybody who donated, no matter how little or small, but I especially want to thank those that did give. So let me thank you now, sort of in person. So Jeremy Press, I don't have a YouTube channel for you, but thank you for your donation. I'm not going to mention amounts. Philip Bugnaud, I'm probably massacring your name. Thank you for your donation. Jalen, who is MacBook Air 15 on YouTube. Check him out. Thank you, guys. Nick Atwell, thank you. Diego Luziriaga, who is youtube.com/dancingchickenmovies. Thank you for your donation. Candice Poon, youtube.com/themacintosh1. So that's the number 1 after that. Thank you for your donation. David Moss, youtube.com/Ty's iPhone Help. This guy is awesome, by the way. If you have iPhone questions, check out Ty's iPhone Help. I can definitely recommend him. Eric Scott and Marcel LeBlanc. Thank you guys for your donations. Really, they are appreciated, and they went to an excellent cause, the Le Bonheur Children's Hospital. So guys, probably don't need to say it here, but for exclusive content, And the best way to kind of interact with me is to follow me on Twitter. I'll put a link in the sidebar. But it's twitter.com/John4Lakers. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.